Good afternoon and happy holidays. I wanted to read something hopefully more lighthearted, so I decided to try one of Kingfisher's other fairy tale retellings. So this one is called Hemlock and Silver, and it's loosely based on Snow White. Look, I think you can kind of recognize a lot of the story elements if you're familiar with the original tale, but at the same time the plot is so different that I'm not entirely sure it counts as a fairy tale retelling. In any case, the main character, Anya, is a healer. Like, ever since her cousin died from accidental plant poisoning when she was little, she's developed a really strong interest in poisons, and more specifically in trying to find antidotes to cure things that people have so far not been able to cure. She's also picked up a little bit of a reputation for it, but her life gets complicated when she gets a visit from the king. Like, the king wants Anya to come with him to court to try and figure out what is wrong with his daughter. Like, the physicians haven't really been able to tell him anything, but he thinks that the chances are extremely high. His daughter Snow is being poisoned, and if she is being poisoned, there's always the possibility that it's someone at court that he knows, which means he's not really sure who he can trust. Like, he wants Anya, someone who doesn't have any clear court connections and who wouldn't really benefit from his daughter's death, to come try and see if she can save her. Anya, for her part, is doesn't really feel like she has much of a choice in the matter. Like, she's not confident in her ability to save the king's daughter, but at the same time she he is the king, and it's not really an offer she feels like she can safely refuse. At the same time, she is also a little intrigued. Like, the whole reason she got interested in poisons was that she is a problem solver. Like, poisons to her are a problem that need to be solved, and the strange case with Snow does kind of interest her. So Anya goes with him to court, but there's a lot of odd stuff going around, like with the story of like whatever has been happening with the royal family. Like, the king recently had to kill his own wife, and it was because he found her murdering their other daughter, but there's no one really understands the cause for this sudden tragedy. So, and in addition to that, like, when Anya gets there, she finds that there are a lot of mirrors all around the castle, like including a really big one in her own room. And she finds that these mirrors actually came with the queen when she got married, because she comes from a place that was really famous, like, for its mirror making. And like, as she starts to try and unravel the problem surrounding Snow and her mysterious illness, she discovers that the mirrors may actually be portals to a different world, and starts to investigate like the rules of this new place and how it may connect to not only Snow's current illness, but also the events previous involving the queen and the actions that she took. So let's see. I think, as usual, I kind of like the writing style. There was like a decent amount of humor in the way the story is told, and I like the problem-solving aspect. Like, Anya, like, when she discovers this world in the mirror, like, she performs these little experiments to try to work out what the rules are in this other world, because it doesn't function in quite the same way that ours does. And I think that step-by-step figuring out of the weirdness is always something that I tend to appreciate. Something that I did not like. So I mentioned at the beginning that I started the story because I was hoping for something more lighthearted, and while I wouldn't say that this story was especially dark, like, I also wouldn't consider it particularly lighthearted. Like, a lot of the tragedy has already occurred, like, by the time this story actually begins, but the more I think about the things that the characters it talks about did in the past, like the more I find it somewhat disturbing. So like as far as fairy tale retellings go, I think the overall tone was actually a little bit more grim despite the humor.